Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review of my final combination Jetfire Overload Optimus Prime from Armada. And this is the Legacy Optimus Prime. So I had to do a lot of customizing for this. And here he is with the Legacy Armada Megatron. You can see that it's not really much of a contest. Optimus Prime is just so much bigger. Alright, I'm definitely going to get his backpack off. I've already shown this in another video, my custom overload. You can check that out. But I did do him a little bit differently this time. I saw somebody else likes to set him on Optimus Prime's back like this too. And this is a pretty good way of doing it. So this is actually better than his default way of doing it. And you can see those are where his fists and his smokestacks are. And you kind of just wedge overload into that section by tilting the fists at a 45-degree angle. You just like shove him down and he basically sits there, and this shelf like helps him stay there, and it looks pretty good. It's not as far back as his other configurations. So this is actually a pretty good way of configuring this backpack if you do have overload. And I like this way because these flaps go over his shoulder, which doesn't work if you put him in the other configuration. So that's pretty cool. And then you can still extend this, but it's kind of pointless. And because of my custom overloads articulation, you can have the cannons like point up if they're like getting ready, or they're like anti-aircraft mode. So he's like shooting at Starscream or something. So that's pretty cool. And you can rotate these all the way around into like a rest position, which can also look pretty cool. So there you can see him with his gun cape, which doesn't look too bad. It makes him pretty back heavy. So Jetfire's heels are struggling to keep him upright. Oh, there we go. So he's barely able to not fall over. But that mode's pretty good, and it hides like his whole artillery behind his back. So that's pretty cool. I think this looks pretty good too, even with those in the rest position. I'll do a couple more things with overload later, but let's just go ahead and get him off the back. And you see like he wasn't really clipped in or anything. He was just hanging out there. But let's take a look at the Jetfire combination, because this was a really easy custom. This is actually something pretty much anybody could do if you have the parts. I got this Jetfire today, and I finished this custom of getting his torso attached. I probably did it. It was maybe like a 1-hour process, probably like 40 minutes really. And then Jetfire's ankles have this annoying thing where they like to pitch forward, which is the opposite of what you need. So you can have him do like a Michael Jackson lean. But it's kind of annoying. So there he is standing upright. And you can see there's no tricks involved. He's all just attached there. I can actually pick him up and he won't separate, which is very nice. And then the only thing I modified was this connection area. I didn't modify anything else on this Jetfire, so he does not have like hip or knee articulation. I could do that, I guess, but I don't know. I didn't want to deal with that today. I just wanted him to be attached. You can see how he looks. And I think that works out really nicely, surprisingly. And I was just getting very frustrated by the lack of videos and pictures that show these two combined. Or even like really next to each other, so you can't really get a sense of how they look. But I think these legs fit about perfectly, right? They work out really nicely. Looks a little better in an A stance. And if you had the DNA kit that extends his arms, I think this would look even better. But yeah, so let me show you how I did this custom. It's very basic. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate him. So I just have to like pull him off. And the only thing that's holding him in is friction. So I put 3 screws, one there, here, here, and that corresponds to this gap behind his head, this gap in this clip, and that just tabs right there, and then this one behind his head. and it fits in pretty snugly, so that I just screwed in those screws, and then I covered it with polyplastic, and I used a saran wrap so it doesn't stick to Optimus Prime, and then I just shoved him on, and there he is. Now he's all attached. So it's only on there by friction. I didn't do anything fancy. That's why this was a nice fast custom. It works well enough. I'll probably get some plastic here. I'll get some scrap plastic and cover that up. But you can see it works out pretty nicely, has a good grip. And that's it. And that's the whole thing. And this thing still transforms because, oh, I had to cut these clips off the side, but I don't think anyone will mind. So this was a junker Jetfire. This thing was like 20 bucks, so it's missing a lot of its parts. But you can see everything still fits back together. If it had the canopy, it'd fit right there. Everything would fit. It's got this huge gap right here, so it's perfect. It's very easy custom that anybody could do. I did mod his original pants as well. I took off his whole diaper assembly. I just popped it off on the mushroom peg. I really thought that thing looked stupid. And then I cut this plastic back here so that this could rest more here. And then you do have to like stress out the plastic to get it around here. Like you're definitely not supposed to do that. It doesn't have the clearance. But the reason I put that there is that so then I can put his pants on. So you just do that normally. And then the reason I went through that is so then we can put overload back on his shoulders. How does this go? Okay. Back on his shoulders back here. And now he doesn't have, well, now he's got like this skirt back here, which is not too bad. And then you can just bring his cannons back around to the front. Just like you saw a minute ago. And I think that cleans up his back very nicely instead of having to have this in his top section as well. It's nice to just have that all jammed up there, or to have this skirt back here with his overload backpack on his back. And I think even just this looks pretty cool. I think this is a pretty cool combination now that I've like fixed up his skirt a little bit. So I think that improves that. All right, and here's a group shot of all three of them together, and then Overload and Jetfire are much bigger than Optimus Prime, unfortunately. Hopefully they do make a legacy version of both these guys that scale with him, and they're all like Voyager class. That would be pretty cool. Probably not possible because this guy, his legs are so big in the combined mode. But yeah, you can see all the different parts he's missing. And then we'll go into the vehicle mode. All right, and here's how everything would look if it was connected. I don't know what I did with this guy's connection weapon thing. I put it somewhere. And then this Overload, I apparently threw away his connector, unfortunately, years and years ago. So that would connect up here. But you get the idea. You get his like giant train mode. That's what it would look like. Yeah, so if you're a, I don't know, minor customizer, I think you could definitely get these pants to work just like I did. And I think I might get the 3D printed one that I've been seeing on eBay, just so somebody will review it, because I haven't seen anything for it. But hopefully maybe one day I can get a complete version of this guy with his rocket and his cockpit, and especially the chest shield, because I think the combined mode really needs that. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one.